So how can teenagers actually create passive income? Well, wouldn't it be nice if they could actually create passive income and pay for their own bills for once, right? I'm speaking to you parents specifically, right? I have 5 teenagers myself, and here's what I would actually teach my own teenagers and what I think would be great, really 5 great strategies that will help you be able to create passive income right now as a teenager. All right, so number 1 is start a side hustle, right? It's great when I see teenagers that try to get normal jobs and things like that, and there's some real valid use for that. But I love seeing when teenagers get a little bit more creative. Like for example, I have one of my employees where her son went and started a window washing business. And him and his friends started doing that business to the point where they made tens of thousands of dollars in just the summer months alone, right? Made massive income in just their own neighborhood. So that's a great way to use your body, but you could also be using your mind. Could you be doing office admin support? Could you be working for another business owner part-time? Could you be doing something like that? We actually pay one of our teenagers right now to keep the books on our rental properties because honestly, my wife doesn't want to do it. So we have a 14-year-old doing it now, and she's getting paid for that much, much better than she would flipping burgers or flipping tacos or whatever she might be doing, right? Much better that way. And so what are ways you can actually be making money that could be maybe more out of the box? Maybe it's more like a virtual type position that allows them to have the flexible hours to work around their own school schedules and everything else to make more money. So the best way to start making passive income is to start by having money. And by the way, here's the thing. This is not a passive income idea, obviously, we're talking about here. We're talking about active income so that you have enough money to eventually start creating the passive income. So I get that. Like, don't argue with me online saying this is not passive at all. You're right. I just need you to build up more income and have more savings so then you can start putting that away. Which leads me to my next point. Build your savings. Especially when you're a teenager at home, you're not paying for all these different things. We have our teenagers pay for some of their clothes and whatnot, but start to really capture those dollars. Build your savings up. And we talk a lot about emergency funds and things like that. And as a teenager, you don't really have a whole lot of emergency funds, but you can start building up your savings. I would recommend to at least the tens of thousands of dollars. Now, some people might say, oh, I've got $1,000. How do I invest it? Don't worry about that right now. Build up your savings. Now, you might be saving for different things like college, or you might be saving to launch your own business or whatever it might be. Great. Keep doing those kind of savings, but you want to start building up savings that you can eventually invest. And I would recommend, it might seem like a tall order here, but if you can get up to $100,000 or more, that's a great start. Now that might seem forever. You might be well into your 20s before that's a possibility, but maybe not. One way that our teenagers have sometimes kind of gotten a benefit of passive income is that if they start to build up their savings now into the thousands of dollars, we might allow them to participate in a way as a partner with us. So for example, if we're doing a particular investment, we might say, listen, this investment costs us, say, $25,000, but if you want to be a 4% partner in that, give us $1,000 and we'll put that into our own account that we'll use to invest and do some things, basically buy out some of our own partnership, and we'll pay you 4% of all the proceeds that come from that. So yeah, if you might have that $1,000 and maybe it only makes you like 75, 80 bucks a month, but hey, that's better than what you're gonna make in a savings account earning really point nothing percent on that little $1,000, right? And so we actually have some kids that do that. They say, hey, can I buy in to an investment that you're a part of and then share in some of those profits? Yes, you can. One of them was a $50,000 investment. It's been paying us about $400 a month, give or take. Great. She bought in, got 2% ownership in that, and gets paid a little bit per month off that. And so we calculate that every month. That builds up the cash that then she can then reinvest and do again. So although I generally recommend, even for adults especially, that you have at least $100,000, but if you have parents that are also doing this, or if you are that parent and you're doing alternative investments, by the way, check out lots of other videos on this YouTube channel for Money Ripples. Lots of great information on that. But if you're actually doing some other alternative investments, great. This is a great way they can share in that, learn about it a little bit more, and kind of get them the training wheels needed. But just remember, biggest focus is just build the savings. I would build it well into the thousands before you even worry about any of this stuff, because that is the first essential thing to do. All right, here's another recommendation that's not passive income, but this is just really good advice for life, is don't just go blow money on luxury items, right? Don't just go blow money on things that really don't matter. It can be so intoxicating, especially as a teenager, that you think, oh, I've got to buy this. This is going to be so good. I can tell you this, I grew up as a child of the 80s and the 90s, and I wish I could get back the literally hundreds, if not thousands of dollars I spent on sports trading cards, only to maybe sell them for later for like maybe a few $100, right? I would have been much better off. I've spent way more money on those things that it was worth. I thought those were collectibles. I thought those were an investment, so to speak, but they really weren't, right? I'll tell you, I actually bought a card that I could have bought as a kid at $35 or $40, but I could never justify the cost in my mind, that I just recently bought for $400, for 10 times that amount. But I'm in a better position now. So don't waste your money on luxury items. Get yourself to the point where you can build that savings more, so then you can actually use that money to invest and generate more income coming in. And man, I'll tell you, if you can be a 20-year-old that actually has income coming in, whether you work or not, man, you'd probably be the most popular person at the party. I'll tell you that much. All right, here's another pro tip as well. Do not invest in things that are just gambles, right? I was watching a TV show the other day, and it's funny because this situation was so real life, because I've actually heard this very situation happen. But the particular kid, he had just turned 18, he was about ready to go to college, and he decided to go into digital mining, right? He's gonna do like this new coin that he was gonna mine, and he was making lots and lots of money, and he was even like using up all of his parents' power and stuff. The power bills went through the roof because of it, because he was literally trying to mine from his house, and then all of a sudden it crashed to zero and he lost all of his money, right? Do not invest in things that are just gambling your money away. Things like digital currencies, just throwing your money in stocks. Although it could be a good education, if you're willing to lose everything, fine, try it out. But don't invest all your money into those things, right? Diversify a little bit more and actually invest in things that have real value. This is why I always teach my children to invest in things like real estate, because real estate is a real tangible asset that is backed up by something that has real value, where you really don't have that benefit when you're dealing with stocks all the time, although stocks can have some value. And you definitely don't have that with digital currencies, even though they could store value too. Even gold and silver, which I'm much more a fan of than digital currencies, still can fluctuate up and down. I have kids that actually own literal, silver or gold, gold, well, really, they can't afford the gold bullion, but they have the silver bullion that they have, right? They actually have those silver coins that they've invested in, and they can watch the values go up or down, but it doesn't really change the month-to-month income. Those are things that are just nice to have, but again, you don't want to really speculate on something that's got this value that can go up or down. You want something that actually generates consistent cash flow. So when you're looking to invest for good cash flow in real assets. All right, and here's another little tip as well, is decide if you want to go to college or not, right? College can be a massive expense. It can be a great investment, or it could be a total, really a ripoff, depending on your situation, your life, and what direction you want to go. Now, for example, I have a daughter who wants to go into the medical field. Naturally, she needs to get educated, right? She has to go through college to do that. Now, I actually went to college, and just so you're aware, even though I'm a college dropout, it wasn't because I couldn't hack college. I actually had a 3.8, almost 3.9 GPA in college. Tests were easy. I didn't even have to study a whole lot to be able to get that kind of GPA. However, I know some of you hate me right now for saying that, but here's the thing, guys, is that I realized pretty quickly when I started to see my future in other people's lives, as I looked at other adults, I could see that in their lives, including my own father, is that even though some people went and got their jobs, they were never really guaranteed any freedom. And so I realized for myself pretty quickly that if I wanted to have higher potential for freedom, I need to become a business owner. I need to have control of my own time, how much money I make and everything else versus working a typical 9-to-5 or 9-to-9 corporate job. And so I eventually dropped out of college to go do that. Best decision ever. Because I'll tell you, that sociology degree that I had, even working towards an MBA, wouldn't have got me jack squat compared to what I got in the real business world that allowed me to make literally millions and millions of dollars. I would not have been able to do that with just simply getting that sociology degree or getting my MBA, right? It's just, again, this is a personal choice for you, but decide whether or not that's your path, because you might look at a path and say, wait a minute, this is more vocational training. Maybe you're looking to do like in something in the construction field or something that's more labor inducive, right? The labor field right now is rich. Like people need labor. We're begging for contractors to come and work on our property and stuff. It's hard to find that kind of work. Those people can get good top dollar and they don't have to have a college education to do it. You just need to be trained well by somebody who's already in that field. So could you become an apprentice to somebody else? Could somebody teach you the ropes? You become like the apprentice where they're the master, almost like Jedi versus the apprentice, right? It's kind of like that. It's like Star Wars, but you get trained under them, you work for them, and that's where you get the training. And then you can become the master in your field. So decide whether college is worth it or not, because you might be wasting tens of thousands of dollars on something that really did no good for you. And that was kind of the case for me. Now, here, kind of time with that same thing is that if you really want to build and grow faster, having your own business is a great way to do it. I don't think everybody's cut out for business. I think everybody can have different levels of it. You can be an intrapreneur where you work within somebody else's system, even as a contractor, or you can become an entrepreneur where you create your own business. But I'll just tell you this, the business of whatever you is, focus on that. Use your talents, use those things you have, because I'll tell you this one secret that's made me millions upon millions of dollars. It wasn't about the investments I did. It wasn't about creating a business. The key thing that I learned that made me the most money was this, is that dollars follow value. Instead of asking, how do I make more money? Keep asking, how do I create more value for the people that I serve? And in fact, if I want to make a lot of money, how to create more value for more people? How can I expand that reach and serve more people? That is the key. How do you solve problems, serve people, or create a win-win in such a way that money is just a natural exchange? That is the true secret to wealth. And if you learn that and master that as a teenager, man, the sky's the limit. You will be so much farther ahead than your parents. You'll be farther ahead than me at my age, where I'm in my mid to late 40s. Guys, you could be rocking it because you focus on how do I serve people and solve problems for them and give them what they want. Because if you give enough people what they want, you'll also get what you want in return. That is the secret, guys. So that's my advice to you. If you want to create passive income as a teenager right now, and I actually kind of give you a bonus, I guess I went beyond 5 here, but these tips will help you get there faster. And of course, keep following this Money Ripples channel, because we got lots of great passive income ideas as you start to build that savings so you can actually turn that money into real cash flow, because hey, cash flow is what creates freedom, guys. So yeah, so like and subscribe to our channel and keep following. In fact, you can even follow our Money Ripples podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or here on YouTube if you like the podcast as well.